guys, how's it going? Welcome to this week's recap video. We have had a beautiful week around here. Lots of things ready to be harvested. We woke up to rain today, puddles on the ground, high of 77. It doesn't feel like fall outside yet, even though it's not getting as hot, but it looks like it when you're inside. And it feels cozy, and I love that. I'm ready to decorate for fall. We've got all of our fall tubs out. I haven't told the kids yet. They're all on the back shade porch. I kind of have to wait. You have to brace yourself because these kids, you guys, they are...
Especially Benjamin. He's big time into the decorating.
Oh man, they love it. And so I have to kind of like go through some of the things because there's some things that just like they need to be placed, or like I'm saving them for a specific project or whatever that we might be doing together on video. So I need to kind of go through and have their tubs that they get to just, and they just set stuff wherever they want and we just pretty much leave it alone.
Does it kill you a little bit inside?
A little bit because, you know, they'll just be like random pumpkins like all up the stairs or like right where you need to walk. I mean, we'll scoot some stuff out of the way.
It's a short season.
It is, and they enjoy it. So that will be going down at our house in the next couple of days. Anyway, there is a Labor Day sale going on right now in our store. So I just wanted to let you know, I'm going to read through the bullet points here. It's going through September the 2nd. There are a few exceptions, but not a tremendous amount. This is a pretty good list. First of all, the shipping caps at $9. So you won't pay anything over $9 for shipping. And then 10% off yard cleanup and harvest tools. So that includes stuff like hand tools, tarps, pop-up bags, kneeling pads, just everything related to harvest and cleanup. We've got like our Cape Cod weeders back in stock that I showed you earlier. We've got harvest baskets, things like that. 15% off all bundles. And that includes the harvest baskets, which are sold in sets of 2 or more. And their bundles there's a whole bunch of them. So they'll bundle like some really like popular, like our most popular things, hand tools together. They'll do like a harvest bundle where there will be, you know, snips and harvest basket and, you know, whatever. But there are a lot of those that you can check out. 25% off sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, and hats. So there you go. Those are the things on sale until September the 2nd. So let's jump into the first video from this past week, which was watering the city pots, planting sedum, and then the best chicken caprese pasta. So I went down and met Monica down at the garden center. My parents were actually in France. So my mom, I think in the video I said that she was busy that day. It's because she was out of the country. I didn't want to let anybody know. Like, hey, my mom's gone. So they're back now and they had a great time. They were in South France, but southern France. Anyway, I went down to help Monica because they usually do it together, my mom and Monica, and my mom will drive and Monica does the watering, and it makes it go a lot faster and it's a lot more fun when you're not by yourself. So I met her down there that Saturday and then the next Saturday. I just didn't film it the second time. Then when we were done with that, I came home and planted some back and black sedum. They're beautiful where they ended up. And then we harvested some tomatoes and basil, and I showed you the chicken caprese pasta, which we've been really enjoying. And I hope you guys have tried it out, because it's a good one. First comment from Lorind said, the kids talking at the same time with their exciting news, priceless. When they were doing that, I was like, because I think Samantha was far enough behind Benjamin that she couldn't really tell, like maybe she couldn't tell that he was talking straight at me too. Like they were, yeah, it was a lot. Would a hose link work on your watering trailer? Might be hard to rig up, but might be easier for the waterer. Yeah, so I've told my parents multiple times.
Yeah, you know what, that comment, why don't you go post that somewhere that Mike and Susan will see that?
Yeah, so they actually had to come borrow our trailer this summer because something broke down with theirs. And then they just kind of like patched it together and they're using the same thing. And I told my mom, while you have our trailer down there, have one of your guys look at it. They have people who can weld and fabricate and do all of those things like in-house. We had to hire somebody to weld like the pieces on ours and to custom ours. So they could do it all down there in-house. I told her to take pictures, have the guys look at it, and that'd be a great winter project really to get figured out. And she keeps saying that they're going to do it. So we'll see. But yeah, having a hose link on the water cart or a hose reel of any kind is so much better than managing the big floppy hose that wants to kink all the time. Minnesota Gardener said, how fun for you sisters to work together. I love the basket wall idea. I can't tell. How are the baskets affixed to the wall? Little nails. So I just put a nail in, and the baskets don't have a super tight weave, or the ones at least that I hang. And you can just pop it on the nail and then pop it off when you want to use it. Works out great. Charlene said, I work downtown and walk on my breaks around town and admire those pots every day. Do you put anything on them other than BT and iron? They look much better than mine. They get fertilizer too. So BT once a week, or roughly once a week, iron as needed, and then fertilizer. And I think the city actually...
They don't spray BT once a week, do they?
I think they were there for a little while.
Do they? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
They were actually mixing it in the water. and they were just like overhead watering and BTing at the same time. I don't know how that works.
I suppose
Exactly. I would assume it would kind of wash off with the water. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I
the
suppose
plants
you can.
look good. So, yeah. Char or Sherry says that recipe looks amazing. I'm definitely going to try this with all the tomatoes in the garden now. Question, what is the pattern of your flatware? It's so beautiful. Yeah, I love that flatware. It took me a long time to pick out a set. There was one, I think it was at Pottery Barn in Williams-Sonoma, that I liked for years and years. Never pulled the trigger, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I ended up getting this one, which I do believe is from Williams-Sonoma. And I don't remember what it's called. I bet you I could find the name of it real fast. Yeah, it's the Hampstead Flatware Set. And it says that it's a bestseller, which I completely believe. I think they are so pretty. Now, they are a little bit heavy on the ends, which can be a little frustrating. I've had forks fly off my plates more times with this set than I have with others. But I know that now, so I'm a little bit more used to it. But they're substantial. They feel heavy and like, yeah, substantial when you're holding on to them. Karen said, I love watching you in Monica's water. She's so laid back and the pots look beautiful. What is the story on how you say her name with the S anyway? I don't know. We just call her Monica's. And somebody the other day, I don't know what video it was on, maybe it was on this one, said, I'm not hearing you call her Monica's anymore with an S. Why? Why is that? Well, I don't know.
It's just a nickname. It's like just something that you say one. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really think about it. It just started years and years and years ago. I can't even say when it does. But I call her Monica. Even like when I put her name on gifts, I spell it out. Roxanne said, did your mom and Monica also plant up all the pots in the spring? I don't know if they did it or if... I don't know who planted them up this year. It's kind of like it varies depending on who's free at this point. PDP Pitts said, when is the best time to move Bobo hydrangeas? I would say like late winter, early spring, like right before they break dormancy would be a great time. You could also do it like late summer, early fall when it starts to cool off, but giving them enough time to sort of root into their new location before winter comes. A little bit more risky that way, but it can still be done. I think keeping them protected in terms of keeping the moisture levels up, not letting them dry out, and then putting a little mulch over the roots.
Can you do it when they're dormant or no?
Yeah, you can do it when they're dormant. It's just a little harder because it's usually when they're dormant, the soil's frozen.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's harder to dig a hole. But if you get out in the late winter, early spring when it starts to warm up, you can usually manage a hole and get them moved.
Yeah.
Then they can wake up in their new home, and it's usually a little less shocking on their system. Comely Corner said, do you and Monica do 4-H projects for your county fair when you were growing up? Never did. I never, ever did. Did you put stuff in the fair?
Yeah, but not through 4-H. I mean, it was just,
my
mom
entered.
I don't know. I mean, I used to do Legos, like Lego creations, and we would bake pies or cookies or whatever. And yeah. And we always got paid, like it was money if you won. And they would pay you in $2 bills, which was fun as a kid.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I never did. I don't know why. I was in FFA, but I never was in 4-H. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much time 4-H takes up. There's only so much you can do, you know. Both my parents were working. My mom, though, would usually just work during school hours, and then she would pick us up, so it felt like she was always home. But I did piano lessons forever growing up, and I played soccer, and we skied in the wintertime, and there was always stuff going on. I played in middle school. There was volleyball and basketball. I did that. There was always just a lot of extracurriculars. So like adding something else.
Sure.
And summers were kind of off limits. We really didn't do a lot of extracurriculars because that was my parents' busy season. And they were at that point in time building the business. So a little bit more work on that at that time. Ashley said, how many bubblegum plants per pot? Oh boy, I don't know how many they put in there. Probably 3. I'm guessing 3 of each kind, which in one of those pots, we know that 1 will do it based on, based on our experiment. But they look pretty mixed with some other things too. Erin said, quick question. Have you ever thought about installing drip in the high tunnels? We've talked about like how we could do that, but it just ebbs and flows so much. We would constantly be capping things and, turning off sections, having to move plants around so that, we were utilizing water efficiently. I would love to do that.
The only thing that could be done is I've looked into, large growing operations have them. They're expensive, so we could never make it pay, but they have these trays that basically fill up with water and then drain. But again, it works on a huge scale. Doing it on a smaller scale, I don't. Yeah. But that's how you would do it, because then things soak up from the bottom. when they need water. And then it's also really great for like water usage because you can just keep recycling the water and the plants are just taking up exactly how much they want. You've got a holding tank. So when it drains, it just drains into the holding tank and then that holding tank fills it back up.
Right. Yeah, that is nice. Or that would be nice.
Yeah, so it's super efficient with water, but again, you have to buy the tables and it's so much is involved.
Well, we don't really have, I mean, our goal is to not have a tremendous amount of stuff in the high tunnel. And there's only one time of the year, like 1 month out of the year that they're completely full of annuals. And then they get kind of cleared out. And we would rather have most things out of the high tunnel. They'd do better if they can just be out in the sun, getting the nice air and enough light. So I just have a smattering of things in there right now. Okay, next one was a plant studio deep dive. Oh my gosh. Cleaning, organizing, grooming, and repotting. We spent, well, it was collectively like one day. It was one whole afternoon and a whole evening. And then the next morning we spent in here just gutting this room. And I didn't intend on it being that long of a project or taking that much time or being that deep of a clean. But I found a dead mouse in a drawer. And after I did that, I didn't start with that though. I did start with another grow light and I realized how dirty, when you've got plant trays lined up under a grow light and you're watering, a lot of times the water like hits the soil like bounces and hits the wall. And then there's like drips of water that go down the wall and then everything accumulates on the floor. It was so bad. So I spent quite a long time just right on that one light system over there. And then I realized how dirty the walls and baseboards were. And so I just thought, you know what? Minute to win it. We're going to get this thing clean and it feels so good in here. You just walk in and it just feels like a light. It
feels like twice as big for
one thing. It does. All the plants, we went through everything, groomed. I gave a bunch of stuff away. It just felt nice. D. Zara said, what movie did you watch during the cleaning? I think I know what it is, but I forgot the title. So I was watching You've Got Mail and I watched some Downton Abbey. Small Holding at High Heels said, what brand of shop vac is that? How has it held up? That square one.
Rigid?
I think that's a Rigid.
Yeah, I think that's a Home Depot brand.
Yeah, it's been great. It's lightweight. It's easy to carry around. It's the one that I grab, for this type of cleaning or cleaning in the Hartley that's a little more deep. I usually grab that one. It's easier to move around than like the big wheelie ones.
Is it?
The big round ones on wheels, yeah. At least for my purposes. Donna said, I noticed you planted the cactus in regular potting soil. Do they not need a cactus soil mix? Not mine. I think it's so dry here that ours just benefit from being just straight up soil. They dry out just every bit as fast. If I use cactus soil, and I will sometimes, but I find that I could almost water them on a normal houseplant watering schedule to keep them happy. I don't know. I haven't really noticed any adverse effects in our dry climate using regular. Michelle said, do we ever get a glimpse at where Aaron and Taylor's editing space moved to after it left the studio area? If so, I missed it. So Taylor edits from home. Taylor works at home. And your office space moved up to one of the spare bedrooms in the house.
It's kind of a mess up there. Well, I'm always transferring stuff from hard drives from like one to another. And I kind of have to keep a lot of hard drives just on top of anyway. So it works. It's a workspace.
It is a workspace. It's up in the old part of the house and it works out. It's like kind of a quiet spot of the house. And it wasn't any imposition having it in here, but you wanted to move it into the house because it just felt better to have it near.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a pain coming out here to do it. I think another reason that I did it is because I also got a new NAS heart, which doesn't make any sense to most people, but I needed that to be in the house. And so running Ethernet lines just made sense to have it hardwired in the house and not have it wired all the way out here.
Sure. Mary said, didn't you used to have a sitting area in the studio? We did. We moved a pair of chairs out when we got the piano. We kind of like shifted things around inside and then we ended up with 2 chairs out here. And they ended up being kind of catch-alls, kind of like the way the studio looked.
That's true. Like, we would always set stuff on the...
It's nice because they had sides. They were those deep chairs. You bought them. They were,
what are they called? Chesterfield?
Chesterfield sounds
Winchesterton,
right.
Fieldville?
Yeah, something like that. And they were brown, like a dark brown kind of leather.
I love those kinds of chairs.
Do
you? They feel awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my height.
Maybe.
Your mom has a couple, or she has a love seat that's like that.
Yeah.
I prefer chairs because I like having both my arms up.
Oh, sure. But you like the height of that.
They're perfect. I don't know. They feel great.
Ours got just ruined by the cats. Do you remember the way the arms and the legs?
Cats, man.
Anyway, so we ended up sending them off to a new home. The cats, the chairs. The chairs ended up at a new home. Also,
we did send one cat to a new home.
Yeah, and he was a big part of why these were gross.
Yeah.
Probably sprayed on. One of them was sprayed on the back.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and that's why we're like, we got to get these out of the studio. Plus, I got more grow lights. I'm like trying to remember though. There was a lot of things that have happened in this room. Anyway.
When you have a cat that sprays on furniture and stuff,
you're done.
It's over.
Yep.
New home
tried
for you.
to spray on me.
Yeah.
That's what did it for me. I'm like, you just tried to spray my legs.
It's funny. I still see comments every once in a while. It's like, where's Cheddar? It's like, that was like 2 years ago or something like that. At least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just every video, we just need a like a little intro that's like, Cheddar went to Bethany's house.
Okay, now we can move on to the video.
Start the video.
Eugene said, where did you buy your plant shelves with the grow lights? All of these have come from Gardener Supply throughout the years. We started with these behind me, which are the 3-tier sunlight grow gardens. And then we got the bamboo LED grow light gardens. And then we got the Oslo. I think that's the name of the white ones in here. And several different sizes that they sent out through the years. We worked with them for a little while. Not like a sponsorship. We just did like videos here and there for them. And yeah.
I would just get rid of,
they're all useful. I was having an internal struggle. Also, like I farm them out to people who need to use them and then they'll bring them back here. Like Monica's done that. I've had a couple other people do that. They'll take like a tabletop one for their kitchen, use it for a while and then bring it back when they don't want to store it, which, we can store it here. It's nice to have the grow lights in here if I'm feeling real energetic about like the cut flower garden. I used every single space that I had in here with grow lights. Even had flats on the floor for a while. So, you kind of stock up on those things. And even though I'm taking a year or two off from like the big growing sort of seed starting thing, I still want to keep them on hand because what if I want to do that again? What if I want to start a bunch of perennials from seed one year or something? I'd like to be able to do that. And there's really no reason to get rid of them when we've got the space, if we're organized enough, to have the space to keep them. Kareem said, this is such a motivational video. Suddenly I feel like cleaning up the kitchen. Question, when you do deep cleaning or even long planting projects, do you ever lose energy/motivation mid-project? If so, how do you keep it up? I don't normally lose motivation mid-project. The worst project I can remember, there's two. Any bulb planting. When I have to do bulb planting for days and I've got like just bags sitting that I just need to find a spot for, that can be a little bit trying. I'll lose motivation.
Because you don't want to waste the bulbs.
I don't want to waste the bulbs. I want the bulbs and it's worth the work. It's worth the work when you get done with the work, but it's such a monotonous, tedious job to plant bulbs that I lose motivation. When we were planting the 500 boxwoods out in the formal flower garden,
that
I was
took like 3 days.
This is the worst. But I was also equally excited because I could start to see it take shape. Like every section we got done, I'm like, oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, what sucked about that project for you is that you were being pretty anal about how
I placed and planted every single one of those, but you dug most of the holes.
Yeah, but you wanted to like line up every single one perfectly.
Yeah.
And so you were kind of telling everybody like, get out.
Worth it though. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there's not a single one that's off out there.
You have high standards for placement.
I do. And I would rather blame myself if something isn't placed right and I'll go out there and fix it than be like, oh, why are these all off? Did somebody not run a string or were they not like, did you not use the right stick? I use a stick as a measuring device. Did you switch sticks in the middle of your project? You know? So there's just, I know that about myself. So I guard against that. Sure. And I know in projects like that, I just have to do it myself. Yeah. And that's okay. As far as,
it's just good to recognize the things.
I could have a better personality when it comes to.
But so you know what? Sometimes your personality is your personality, and you just need to kind of work within it. And you know.
I don't want to set myself up to be irritated at.
Yeah.
Something outside myself.
Your own punishment for your personality is having to do all the work.
Kind of is, and that's just the way it is. It's not like that for everything, though. No. I've released a lot of things and we have good help, which I'm so thankful for. And I rarely have anything that I'm like, so we're in I think a pretty good position. Yeah. Really thankful. Garden Bee said, anyone else feel seen? Thanks for the real video this morning. I needed it. Oh my word. Yeah. All of our spaces are the same. all of us want to share the same things, and that's the things that we're proud of and that we're happy about. We don't necessarily want to be like, oh, look, here's a picture of a dead mouse I just found in my drawer, you know? But it's reality. It's the way I think humans are for the most part.
We were talking about it. Some of these projects, like cleaning this, it's like, well, it kind of just needs to be done. So I can either film it or I could just not film it,
right.
but I still have to do the work and it's going to take me a day to do it.
Yeah.
So either I could just not have a video today,
right,
or you get this.
Right. I did notice, I think there was just one person that commented like, are you kidding me? You filmed this? I'm like, well, it's this or nothing. So,
yeah.
you know, you could skip this if you want, or just like catch little bits of it if you want. But it is reality. And I think most of you are in the same position where you're like, awesome. Yeah, that makes me feel better about my own space. And I have several spaces like that, unfortunately. It's usually the studio and our butler's pantry inside.
Yeah.
Our butler's pantry is like I will set it here until I can figure out what I need to do. Or like all of our canning stuff, all my canning stuff is now stored. Not all of it yet. Some of it's still in the loft. We need to make the switch this December. But all the canning stuff is down in there. So if I get finished with a project, like I made the triple berry jam this week, when I'm done with all my supplies, I go set it in the butler's pantry because it's an extra set of stairs to walk it down. I wait until I need to go down into the basement for something, and then I always try to make my steps count. And I grab whatever I can that needs to go into the basement, and I put everything away and then grab. It's usually if I'm getting some meat out of the freezer or something down there, I'll take a load of things. But everything waits in the butler's pantry until I'm going to go do that. It's like that for multiple different things that I stick up in there. Carrie said, can you please remind us of the paint color? And I cannot remember. So it's not the same paint color as the one in our house, this blue behind us. The one in our house is called Thunder Gray. I'm like really close to wanting to paint it a different color at this point. It's been the same color for a long, long time. I'm not a huge fan of change, so it could stay that way and I'd be happy, but I kind of want to like something fresh. But anyway, so that one's Thunder Gray, and it's a really dark green gray. In some lights it can appear a little bit blue, but it's green. This one's definitely blue. I got it from Sherwin-Williams, so it's one of their blue colors, and I just can't remember. Is it like anvil? Is that a color? I don't know why that. Maybe that's what I did in the landing. Is that even a blue color? Hold on. I'm going to just see if I'm like way off. Oh, no, well, anvil. Hold on, let me see if Bear has a color called anvil. Nobody has a color called anvil. Ooh, there's one called Sea Mariner. Might be that one. I did this wall and the back wall with I think I did it with 2 gallons of paint. Maybe I only did it with 1 gallon and I did it with 1 gallon of paint, and I was painting over bright white. And I made it stretch. If you look close, you can still see, it's a first coat for sure. And I just thought, like, good enough. It's the studio. We'll be fine. I was so looking forward to setting everything up. I just kind of rushed past it. But it's looked good in here, I think. Okay, next video is our flower shed glow up. That was such a fun project, you guys. It's just been this little neglected space that, I've put a couple of things. I had a couple of pots out there, one of which had a dead boxwood in it for most of this year. The pot got plugged and nobody noticed it until the plant was way too far gone and it never recovered. And then I just left it there. Because, why not have a dead plant right out there in the middle of the formal flower garden? Yeah. So Aaron and I took after the grass and removed the sod. I ran some strings because I wanted it to line up with the closest sprinkler to the shed. So that means our flower beds along the sides are
narrow,
pretty narrow, because I really, 1, did not want to have to move sprinklers. And 2, I did not want to neck down the area that we can walk around those apricot trees. I wanted to make sure that whatever flower beds we have in there were just going to be small. They'll still be pretty, I think. And I think a lot of us just have those random small spots we need to fill up, and they ended up pretty. We also took the boxwood pots out, brought some new containers in, planted those up with some late summer, fall color. They're gorgeous, and I planted a bunch of boxwoods. Made it formal because it needs to be a little bit of a mirror of what you're seeing out in the formal flower garden, but I also want it to have that kind of country feel too, like the relaxed feel. So we've got echinacea and a type of veronicastrum, I think, on the side, and that'll be kind of this abundant, overflowing look. I don't know, the whole thing to me turned out really pretty. I'm really loving it. You were skeptical of the different types of boxwoods.
Yeah. How
do you feel about it now?
Well, I still think, I don't know. We'll see. I know that you and I don't like get on trimming things regularly. And I feel like in order for that to look good, you got to be trimming it once a month. And I don't think you'll ever do that because we just have too many things going on.
Never know.
Well, you might if I say it, but
Here's the problem. I was making some boxwood stretch. So I really wanted the whole thing to be neat ball boxwoods, which are a smaller growing boxwood. And I've never planted that variety before. I really wanted to try it, but I only had 15 of them on hand. So I knew that I could do the front sides, and I want the hedge in front of there to be smaller because if it's too tall, it's going to look like it dwarfs. Was that right? It like dwarfs the shed, or it's too much for the shed. Anyway, so I ended up doing a few of the Independence boxwoods. I did 2 by the door, which I'm going to keep in spheres, and then we're going to come off of those with the neat ball in more of a hedge form, and they'll be a lot smaller. So the Independence will kind of be the larger, more structural, sort of like big pieces, and then we'll have the little neat ball hedge in front. So it's kind of like when we did the bed at the east side of the barn. I have 2 Liberty boxwoods, and then Independence, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'll let the Liberties be round, Independence be a hedge. I was making those stretch. I didn't have enough Independence to finish that job. At this point, I've got some extras. I could pop the Liberties out.
Yeah.
And put
which
the
I probably would do. I mean, you can prove me wrong, but I just don't think that
Let's do that. Yeah, I think we could absolutely do that. I've seen that structure in gardens all the time, and I love it. I love it when there's like different shapes of topiary that kind of morph into something different. It adds some character and a little less like the sameness.
What are you going to do during the summer when you can't trim though?
Well, those I will be able to, like on the east side of the barn, because they're in shade more than they're in sun. So I don't think the intensity.
Well, and the trees get bigger too.
Yeah. And same with the flower shed. Those stay in the shade right up next to the building.
Yeah.
As opposed to the ones that are out further. Those will get sun in the late afternoon. I think we'll be good on the whole like sphere shaping. Okay, Bonnie said, love the garden shed dressed up. Question, you mentioned a fabric house. Which brand do you use for the, hose. Which brand do you use for the garden? Oh, geez, I don't even know what brand we had. Just any fabric hose. They don't hold up. Like, I haven't ever had a fabric hose that holds up very long. But they are handy to have just because they puddle into such a tiny little mound that you don't really notice them, as opposed to a hose link or a whatever hose reel. We have multiple different brands out there now, but they have a big plastic shroud, and it's kind of an all-consuming look, or it can be.
We need to make one that like fits into a vault that you put in the ground.
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Push a button and
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do that, Aaron.
Wouldn't that be awesome though?
That
or
would
even,
be awesome.
Even just a hose that kind of was like under a little fake rock or something.
Yeah.
But you just grab it and just pull it, and you can go any direction. It's got those little like balls that kind of allow it to come out any direction from the ground.
There you go.
And then it reels right back up.
Bingo. Julia and Bob said, that looks so pretty with the new pots, and a hedge will be so nice there. Would you ever consider a rounded hedge? I think they are so cute. We were just talking about that. I can't remember in what context, but what are your thoughts on a rounded?
I don't love them personally. I like square hedges, but I mean, to each their own.
Yeah.
You know?
I've never had a rounded hedge. Not to say that I wouldn't ever want one.
Yeah.
I feel like square hedges are maybe a little easier to hedge because it's very straightforward.
Yeah, maybe.
Like it needs to be flat, and you can't. If there's less room for error.
Sure.
I guess. I don't know. I have to think about that. Connie said, newish to the channel, love it. It's my daily go-to. If it's not totally obvious, would you mind sharing the names of the different areas like the Dirtlands, the Dreamstream, and maybe why you chose that name? I really enjoy the names/titles. Thank you. I think we'll probably do a new like overhead sort of map out of the property. We did one a year ago.
We did it before we bought the land.
Yeah.
The latest purchase, which now would be like this January will be 2 years. So this winter we should update it. We
probably should. We've got like just in like pretty quick. We've got the south garden, which is the stuff all in front of our house, like by the formal flower garden. I have to think about it in the dumpster.
Without putting it on the screen, it's kind of.
Well, could we put it overhead? So we have the south garden, we have the formal flower garden, we have the big lawn, we have the Dirtlands, we have the Persephone garden, we have the west side garden. We have the Hartley area. I would just call it the Hartley area.
Yeah.
We've got the Dreamstream area.
The parterre is part of the Hartley.
Yeah. And then we've got the North Garden.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it. Yeah. Carol said, I'm curious, our flower beds are higher than the grass. Is that norm, or do you want a sunken flower like you have there? I think it just depends on the lay of the land.
Well, okay, so sometimes it's actually nice for your flower bed to be a little sunken, or at least the edge
For
right
the
between the
edging?
grass.
Yeah.
Because if you're edging the grass, the grass like can't really grow into the flower bed as easily because there's a little bit of a drop off. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a little sunken. I kind of thought you were actually going to add some mulch where I was digging it out. You just did it right to the bottom of the grass, and I was actually pulling up some dirt with mine.
Know, which is good, but I was like, I don't want it to be heavy.
Yeah, I assumed
side.
that you were going to add some mulch to that side, but then you didn't, and you just planted, which doesn't matter to me. I don't care. But I thought that's what we were going to do.
I thought it was great.
Oh.
I thought both sides were equally easy to plant in. I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
When I went to go plant.
It was slightly, she's right, it was slightly sunken.
Yeah. It's also nice to have the sunken when you're adding mulch, because then you don't have mulch or rocks or whatever, bark or whatever, like rolling off into your grass.
Yeah.
You know, when you're watering things. Teresa said, it looks beautiful. I need to get that DeWalt drill with the handle. Which model is it?
We saw it.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
I don't know. There's only two on the website. There's a 20 volt and a 60 volt.
It's the 60 volt.
You don't have to buy it from us because I'm not even sure if we've got the best price. But the easiest thing is go to our website.
Then you can see
You can see it. You can see what the two options are because there's only two.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be different options in terms of like this one has two batteries that comes with it and this one has one battery or something like that. So there could be options that way, but there's only two models.
Yeah.
A 20 volt and 60 volt. So just look at them. And if you can find a better price somewhere else, go for it.
I only use the 20 volt drill when I'm using the 3-inch auger, but I don't even use it or the 2-inch auger if I'm doing some small bulbs. And then I use the 60 volt for all the other, the 5.7 and the 9-inch auger. Miss Corgi said, looks great. How tall and wide will those small boxwoods get? What type are they? So they were the neat ball and they grow 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So if you get a variety that naturally wants to stay smaller, you can keep the hedge a lot smaller. If you've got a variety that wants to get 6 feet tall and 6 feet wide, eventually you'll end up with a really woody. If you're trying to keep it like a micro hedge, you'll end up with a super woody, thick trunk menagerie of short branches. And I don't think it's as long lasting as something that naturally stays smaller. Catherine said, thanks for this video. The flower shed portion covered so many basic tasks and it was extremely helpful. I'm glad. How much or deep sod/dirt do you typically remove when digging a new bed? Well,
You were coming at it from the side.
yeah, I was
kind
like
of a flat.
scraping up the grass because I didn't want it to be heavy to
Yeah.
lift.
I was just using a shovel and kind of going straight at it and prying the grass
Yeah.
out. You can do either one depending on, but with your method, you're kind of like ready to plant. With my method, you kind of need to cut because I took out some dirt and you sort of need to come in with, an inch or two of mulch or dirt to kind of fill back in.
Which I did not. I just planted and like we just said and mulched on top and it
Yeah.
looks great. Susan said, so in real time, how long did this project take? I think I probably started that project at like 10ish in the morning and I finished thanks to Paul and Aaron. Aaron helped me remove the sod. You helped me move the pots because we had to use a tractor to do that. And then I came in and did all the planting. You and Paul worked on the drip. I think you were feeding him too while he was inserting it. And it was a pretty easy drip job because there was drip access right there. So you just had to tap in and make a line around the front edge. I had already added drip to the pots. And then while you guys were doing the drip, I started to mulch right behind you. And then you helped me finish up mulching. So we started at 10 in the morning. I think we finished like 3:34 for that entire project.
We're we have all the tools and we're ready to go. If a person if it's not something that you do as often as we do, I could see it taking a lot longer because especially the drip portion of it, because it would probably include like 3 or 4 trips to Home Depot or wherever you get your drip supplies. We've totally been there. But now we kind of know what all the parts are. Like I don't met the box that was there that was sort of in the way.
I planted right around it. It worked out.
Yeah, but we hire that out. So I have somebody put in a box. They put in the manifold that has however many zones that I request. And then I ask for them to put in a 1-inch pipe that just sticks up out of the ground. And then from that point, we can go from there because I just get a 1-inch elbow that converts into drip. And so we just have those on hand. Yeah. So whenever we add a new zone, you kind of know what you're in for.
But we didn't even have to do that because Paul had already
done.
run the access so that I could run drip to the pots like maybe last year or the year before. So that was already set up. But like you went and got the load of mulch while I was planting, you were over in the Dirtlands loading up the trailer full of mulch. Like, so there was many hands to make that project happen. So it wasn't like...
And we already had mulch on hand. Whereas like that would have required
a trip.
Trip to
get bags. I would, for that project, I probably wouldn't have used bulk. I would have just used bags.
Yeah, that's true.
And, you know, back when I used to do projects like that a little bit more, but...
So it would be maybe a multi-day project for someone else, just based on the trips.
Yeah.
To the store.
Yeah, but it was one of those that snowballed. My intention was to remove the grass, to swap the pots and plant the pots. That's it. I didn't intend on planting a dang thing in the flower beds or running drip or doing the mulch. It just all worked out. I was so happy. And Paul had to run an errand. So I had the Veronica astrum, and then I didn't have the echinacea on hand. But I saw some of those pink echinacea at the garden center. So I'm like, I knew he was still out. And I texted him like, hey, would you stop and pick me up 10 pink echinacea? I don't care what variety they are. Just pick up whatever variety they have 10 of. And so he picked up those while I was working. So that would have cost me another trip. Anyway, that's how it worked out. Katie said, I'm having an issue with lawn grass creeping onto my flower beds. How do you keep your lawn from encroaching on your beds?
we just talked about it.
Well, we trimmed the grass every week. But we also have to pull a lot of grass. You have to just keep on it.
But if you create a little bit of a divot, I mean, if your grass is like this, and then you have a straight line and sort of a divot before your flower bed, it really does help.
It does. Okay, next video is painting lines for a patio, planting in the south garden, and clean up and mulching in the north garden. Did I actually write it like that? This is like a copy and paste into this document, right?
I always copy and paste the titles. So
I wonder if I wrote that title wrong. I usually just send Aaron a title for every single video. I must have, anyway. I painted lines for the patio area behind the Dream Stream because we were working on that. We just went and picked out some stones for the retaining wall yesterday, and those won't be able to be delivered until like second week of September. So we will tackle that when we get there. But I just wanted to show you the progress on that because the whole area has been dug out and it's kind of taking shape. We planted a load of stuff, some Heliopsis, some obedient plant, some Calycanthus and Panicum. And what else did we have? We had, maybe that was it. No, red hot pokers. It was a really interesting load of plants. And then while I was doing the planting, Paul was working on cleaning up the top of the hill in the back of the north garden. He cleaned that up and mulched it, and it looks so good. Oh, it's so satisfying to watch that. My rustic garden said, love, love, love my Aphrodite sweet shrubs. Question, did Paul do all of his own filming? He's getting so good with capturing perspectives and viewpoints that really make for awesome content. Yes, he did. Did you cut the part I told you? Because he was like trying to affix the camera up top.
Oh, yeah.
And he was trying to like make sure it was filming, and that was kept in initially to the first part of the montage. And I'm like, I don't think Paul will like it. If he's like, checking the camera. But yeah, he gets creative with the film angles.
He does a great job.
Yeah. And more so like through the years, I think. Because more in the beginning, it's more like just set a camera. I think we're all the same. That way you set a camera up and you capture what you can. And then you start thinking like, what could make this more interesting for everybody watching? Like, let's get some close-ups. Let's look at it from overhead. And like, you'll get your drone out sometimes, and just to make it a little bit more
dynamic.
Dynamic, yes. Betty Nettle said, I noticed Paul drinking a Mountain Dew. Do you keep a small fridge/cooler somewhere for employee drinks? They have the root cellar, which is like a giant refrigerator. Yeah. It might be like 1 or 2 degrees above what a refrigerator would be, but you wouldn't know the difference, really.
It stays, it's just the same.
Yeah, it keeps things really cool. In fact, we all go stand in there occasionally, like on a really hot day. One day I saw the light switch up, and I went over there because I thought, well, I need to turn that off. Somebody left the light on, but I might as well check in there. So I opened the door, and there's Bethany trying to cool off. So yeah, we use it to cool off from time to time. It's helpful. The White Horse Farm said, I've been pulling obedient plant from the previous owner for 24 years. They've self-seeded acres away from where they were originally planted. P.S. Mid-Atlantic region, eastern shore of Maryland, average rainfall 30 to 35 inches per year. That's why. We are 9 to 11 inches of annual rainfall in our area. That's why I feel like planting, sometimes I regret it, like the sumac. We got rid of the sumac because it spread. It wasn't supposed to spread like it did. An obedient plant I have grown twice before. Not the same exact variety, though, so we'll have to see how this one behaves. This is the rosea variety. I had the white obedient plant, and it stayed exactly where I put it. And it's because we have to target water things. It didn't have the moisture to spread anywhere, and I don't know if that will be the case here. But like I said, when I was planting it in the very back of the south garden, I that if it's going to spread itself around, this is a perfect spot for it to do that. And I wouldn't mind it. Question, did they build up the soil around the tree when they put in the berm? I was under the assumption that was a bad thing to do for trees. If that is native soil around the trunk of the tree, wouldn't removing it hurt the root system? So they did build it up a little bit, not right around the trunk, but like to the trunk. It was like a little bit of a...
I was a little, nervous. I'm happy to have the dirt taken away.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. We completely dug it out all the way around it, removed all that soil, and the retaining wall is going to be built behind it. So there won't be any soil up next to that tree at all.
You can add some dirt to trees. I think they say you can do, 6 to 8 inches or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be good for...
In the long run, it'll be way better.
It to be gone.
Happy Patty said, can you talk about the roots on the tree by the new patio? Are you not worried about cutting into them so close to the tree?
Again, the soil was built up, so we're taking the soil away and...
Putting the patio in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll leave space around the tree too. The patio won't go straight up to the tree either. Kathy said, do you always want to plant an area completely so you can't see any blank space? Not necessarily. I like some of my flower beds to be completely full. It does help with weed suppression. It helps keep the soil cooler. All of those things, I think it's good for a lot of areas, but there are some spaces where I just need blank space. Like on the west side, I have one side of the pathway planted, the one that has the urns in it. The other side has a boxwood, very tidy boxwood hedge with benches and trees. And it's just very clean. I haven't planted anything in the open spots because I just need that breathing space. I think if I planted it, it would be too much. Same with the formal flower garden. I don't know. We're going to have to see how that area shapes up. I don't even know if I'm going to plant it up next year. We'll plant around the trees again with some annuals, but I love the breathing space. It really highlights the formality in there, and I think it's good in some ways. I almost want to plant a patch of grass, like a very formal, there's a square of grass in every single one of the... I won't do that, but you know what I mean. Something just very minimal and very clean. It's just breathing space. Krista said, Laura, I've been watching since the townhouse. One thing I've not ever seen you plant is pampas grass. Have you ever considered it? I incorporated it a couple years ago and really enjoy it. The height is amazing along with the fall foliage. You were just saying that we needed to plant some pampas grass 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, this past week. We'll probably put some out in the dirt lands.
There's a lot of people that have it around here.
Yeah, there's a lady right at the end of our lane who uses it as kind of like a hedge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very impressive grass. We can't grow...
A seasonal hedge.
Yeah, we can't grow the really showy pampas grass, though, like the big white plumes or the big pink plumes. They die out. Over the winter, we have to plant what's called a hardy pampas grass. They're not quite as showy in the plume department, but they are just as impressive with the growth and the height and all of that. Corinne said, thank you so much for taking us along for all your projects. So fun to see what you're doing next. What have you done to your pond? It is looking beautiful. Algae is really cleared up. Well, you just need to put tilapia in there, and then they need to have 1 million babies.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The amount of fish in there is insane. And it really is looking good.
Yeah.
I mean, have you added anything to it that I don't know about?
No.
No, it's just and I kind of feel like we found that balance last year too. We just got to a point where it's
I don't even know if the tilapia were necessary. Honestly,
Maybe not.
You just got to get past the spring.
Yeah.
Where the spring is just atrocious for us. And hopefully,
maybe next year will be better.
Next year might be slightly better. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same though. But at least we know, there's a couple things that we know were not working, like the ion gen doesn't work, which how did Aquascape not know that? Because I told them that we had hard water and high pH.
You're going to get a call from Greg for saying that.
But seriously, how, and I know the ion gen is sort of new for Aquascape as well. So maybe that's what it is that, a lot of the Aquascape installers, even that I've talked to, I heard over and over, they're like, yeah, honestly, I've only installed one of these for one of my clients, or I've only put in 2 of these. And so even the Aquascape guys in our local area were like, this isn't something that we use, all the time. It's sort of, we're just testing it.
Right.
So maybe that's what it is. But anyway, the ion gen, it's out of range. It doesn't work for our water. So we won't keep messing with that. And I'm not going to keep messing with, what was the other stuff we were throwing in there?
Wasn't
the SAB, string algae buster.
Uh-huh.
I think it's the same thing. I'll bet you anything that it just doesn't work. It gets bound up by our hard water or our high pH and just doesn't work. I was putting so much of it in. because like we had it on hand because we brought it in for the store.
Well, and the pond looked bad. So it's like, let's just try to
like throw
hit
anything
it hard.
at it.
Yeah. HM536 said, where's your kneeling pad today? I have one of the small ones for my 5-year-old and the large one for me, and we love them. They're so comfortable and fun to use. I'm glad that you like them. Mine, I gave to Samantha the night before. The kids were playing out on the big dirt pile we have in the front of the dirt lands, and she wanted to use it as a sled. So, and I happened to go by in my gator, so I handed it off to her. And I think it ended up back in the barn. And I just forgot to grab it. And I was out in the south garden, and I was like, I don't want to make the trip back to the barn, so I'm just going to use my Biotone bag. It worked. Okay, Eric said, what type of mulch do you use? I don't like the coarse mulch, but in my area, that's all I can find. Yours looks fine to medium and stays a richer color. We use compost for mulch. It's not an actual mulch. However, it's like a chunky compost. It's not a fully broken down compost. So, and it retains its color. It's not dyed. I mean, it doesn't retain its color completely.
We went through lots of different things. Everybody's local area is going to be different. You just got to find a local source that has something that you like, which means you're just going to have to keep trying and testing things and use small quantities on this little flower bed here and see what you think of it. Yeah. There's no way to impart, this is the exact thing you get.
Right. Okay. And the next video is crop report, multiple harvests, and triple berry jam. I just wanted to show you because we have so many food crops coming to fruition right now that I wanted to show you how everything was looking. Show you the plants, show you what the produce is looking like. We ended up harvesting all the rest of the onions are harvested. We harvested the red Pontiac potatoes. Great yield on that variety. And then we also picked berries, and I wanted to do a straight up raspberry jam, but I think I hit the produce out there, the raspberries are like peak right now.
I know.
I hit it right between like two flushes of berries. And so I got enough to make, it was largely raspberry jam, but I had to throw some blackberries and strawberries in to make up the difference. And it's really tasty. I ended up with like a part jar and then 4, are they pint? Yeah, because the quart ones are the big ones. Yeah. So for 4 pints and then like a half of a pint. And so I've been eating off of the half pint one, and it's tasty. Robin said, I grow potatoes every year but never get very big ones. What do you use for fertilizer and how often? So we use the Biotone starter fertilizer mixed into the soil whenever we plant a new crop. And then I top dressed with the land and seed compost. And then I did come along and I fertilized them with Garden Tone once. Twice? No, I think just once. So they got a couple doses of fertilizer, which is 1 dose more than a lot of years. So, yeah. And they did really well despite the soil being so crummy out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the soil has been been a test.
You can grow stuff in our soil despite how horrible it looks.
Well, even the pumpkins, which has been a little bit of like a trial this year because of the soil. Aaron tilled, but neither of us, it looked tilled.
Yeah.
So neither of us thought like we should go see how far the tiller made it down. Like we needed a bunch of weight or the Bobcat to do it instead of the John Deere, because it just tills deeper. But the pumpkins are doing it. And, even though they wilted down hard, like to almost death looking on the really hot days, I think that stresses them into higher productivity.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think that a really happy pumpkin that never wilts produces a ton of leaves and not as much produce.
Well, because they're trying to perpetuate, when they're stressed, they're trying to perpetuate themselves.
Right.
And create a lot of seeds, right? Which would mean, more production.
Right. So I think we'll do okay out there. Right now you can't tell because they're so shrouded by weeds, but that's all right. Jill said, the orchard is beautiful and abundant. I recall you thinning fruit early on to reduce the weight and produce larger fruit. Do you thin all of the trees or just certain ones? You should be thinning all of the trees. I should have thinned probably twice as much as I did, at least, especially on the nectarines. The first couple of years I got great big nectarines. They were beautiful, but the trees were smaller. They were a lot easier to thin. And this year I would go through a couple of times, like in the evenings when I'm out there, I'd go through and just knock a bunch of fruit onto the ground and then go through and gather it. But I think they were so loaded, I should have done more. Angela said, I purchased your berry baskets last week, but what I was wanting were those 4-pack berry baskets at $16.06. Couldn't find them anywhere. If you put those in your store, they would fly off the shelf. Any plans? Yes. Yeah. So those don't exist anywhere. Well, they almost do, but they don't exist anywhere that we can find anymore. I bought that little 4 box of berry baskets at some shop at some point in my life. I can't remember where or what brand they are or any of that. And we've done some scouring. And we've got a lot of different sources to check and couldn't find anything. So we will have something incredibly similar, hopefully soon. Budget Gardening Vita said, when the soil level drops in the raised beds, how will you top it off with all the strawberry plants in there? What I'll do is probably yank the plants every 2 to 3 years, top everything up with fresh soil, start with fresh plants. That's probably what I'll do. And I can start some new plants with runners and then just perpetuate my own crop. But the mother plants usually start dying out. They're a 5-year cycle, but they start to dwindle in production year 4 and 5. So usually we give them a couple, 3 years, and then we'll want to start rooting, like getting serious about rooting some runners, and then we'll pull and refresh soil. So it might be a couple of years of sinkage, and hopefully, especially after that first year you usually deal with more sinking than future years. But we did get in there on all of them but one bed. One bed didn't get stomped down as good as the others, but we got in there and stomped the soil down as much as we could. So
who's in charge of that one bed?
I don't know. I don't know, Aaron. I just couldn't tell you. Wasn't me. Kayla said, did you say Christmas lights to keep the frost off the trees? Yeah, like the incandescent, the old type Christmas lights that throw off heat. A lot of people will toss those in trees when they're blooming. In fact, you could toss them on your trees before they're even blooming so you don't damage anything. And if you happen to need them when they're in bloom, then you can plug them in and it provides a little extra heat, takes the edge off, and you can save your fruit crop that way. I think that's pretty. So
there you go.
Yeah. Lorraine said, I have to ask again, is there a reason you don't try a horse chestnut tree? Seeing you pull acorns and you're excited at their cuteness, I think you'd also like the conkers from horse chestnuts. Such pretty trees. You should try one in the same sort of place as the oak, away from the horse and the dirt lands so the mess they make won't affect your gardens. We would like to have all kinds of different trees, and I don't think I would mind having a horse chestnut somewhere.
Yeah.
They're really pretty when they're in bloom, especially. Pat Welch said, I tried bagging my pears and the animal managed to remove them. So frustrating. I look forward to your next experiment on your orchard. If you have fire blight and remove a tree, can you replant in the same location the next season? Yes, the fire blight is spread through the blooms in a wet kind of situation. Like if you have the blooms open on the tree and you have rain, or if water gets on them somehow, it usually spreads during that time. I don't think, and don't quote me, I guess I should look. I don't think fire blight is spread or soil borne in any way. No. Fire blight bacteria does not survive in the soil. So it's just spread inside the tree. So you should be good. Patricia said, loved the video. Pole barn is awesome. Curious, did you have to face it in a certain direction so that snow doesn't fill in areas because of wind, or will you have doors? So we will not have doors. It will be open. Typically, if we could face it to the east, that would be the best because usually our prevailing winds come from the west. So it would protect it from a lot, but we can't do that back there. Otherwise, it just wouldn't work out. It's too far back that way because that's the easternmost point on our property. But if we face it west to east like that, and then the openings are on the north, typically if we get winds southwest, west and southwest, so it might get, if the wind is coming at a little bit of an odd direction, it might get some things in there. It probably will, like it would facing any direction, but it'll get less having its openings toward the north. So Andrews has an open bay that's facing west. And thankfully it's kind of protected down in there. There's the garden center and there's not a ton of stuff that can blow in, but yeah, it can get pretty messy in there. Okay, the last group of questions is from last week's recap video. Sean said, just wondering, have you ever filmed a segment and then scrapped it for one reason or another? Yeah. Not often.
Doesn't happen a ton,
but it has happened.
Yeah.
I remember, what was it? There was something on my face. I filmed a whole intro. And I'm thankful, for some reason I wanted to watch it back. I think I wanted to see if I liked the way I said a certain thing because I was introducing somebody. It was when we did something where Klaus Dalby was going to be in the video sharing something.
Oh, yeah?
There were several people that shared some things in that video. It's several winters ago. Anyway, I had something on my face. And I'm super happy that I had to scrap that whole, it wasn't a whole video though.
It was just an intro?
It was an intro.
That's not a big deal.
I'd shot it a bunch of times though, and I remember feeling very frustrated because I feel like I couldn't get the words out, and I rarely, I never watch a video back before I'm done, send it to Taylor to edit. I never watch any of that until he brings it back fully edited. But for some reason, I really wanted to watch that back. And I'm glad I did, because I'm like, well, I have to scrap it now. Otherwise, that's all anybody's going to talk about is this whatever it was on my face. Do you recall any other time?
No, I mean, there was a couple videos in the first year because you didn't want to post anything.
Yeah, true.
You were just
Very
like,
true.
it's all bad.
Yeah.
And do you remember we used to go back and forth on that?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, post it. It's fine. I mean, like, we can do better.
Yeah.
But let's just do better.
Yeah,
Next
he
one will
would
be
tell
better.
me that. Post it, and next time do a better job. Okay. Like you're forcing me.
Yeah.
He never forced me. It just.
But I think
that's
you knew I was right.
Yeah, it was a good thing, because I don't think you'll ever get something to a point where you're like, that was perfect.
Right.
I've never felt that way about anything that we've put together. There's always something that I want to change. And honestly, like watching yourself.
Yeah, you're always really critical of yourself.
Yeah.
But like the way that you grow, and it's good to get feedback from people. You know, you read comments and see what people think of it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Mary Jane said, I love your videos. I've been following you for years and always learn something new. Thank you. Could you do a video or pictures from the beginning of your estate to now?
Yeah, we've kind of done that before.
We have. But
yeah.
it is different. And like we said, maybe we'll sit down this winter and do more of an overview of the property.
Yeah.
And maybe in that one, we could kind of weave in some history, I guess. Like we added this piece on.
Did we do that in the history of Garden Answer or the...
Oh, maybe. I can't remember.
Was
When
that
did we
just
do
about-
that?
Honestly, that's the thing about making so many videos is like, I don't even remember what we've done.
I don't either. Horace Casper said, what are you saving the expensive champagne in the fridge for? Did I show that? Or did I just talk about it? I might have just talked. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I think if we talked about it for some reason. I don't know why. It's been in there just chilling, and I just have to be in the mood. I'm not like a champagne all the time. I'm not even like in the mood for cocktails all the time. It's kind of rare, actually.
Yeah.
Like how many cocktails do I drink in a year? Probably feels like I drink a lot to you guys, because I'm always like, let's try this cocktail. I probably have...
Way less than 10. Maybe less than 5.
No, I probably have like... maybe not even one a month. Maybe one a month.
Oh, so maybe
Maybe
around
like a
10.
dozen in a year.
Okay.
In a year's time. Yeah, I think it averages out, because I'll go like a couple months and not have a single cocktail, and then I might have 2 around Christmas time.
Oh, sure.
You know, so I don't drink all that much. So the champagne is in there because I want to have like, I want to open it when I've got other people around me that will enjoy it. So I want to make sure it's worth it and it's not just me drinking it.
Won't be me.
No, it won't be Aaron. So anyway, Fringfee said, do the lavender plants get cut back in the fall? Typically in the fall or in the spring, whenever we happen to have a time to do it. Nikki Kirk said, for the giveaways, is it only American viewers that can enter? I never know whether to enter as I'm in Scotland. We should probably clarify that. But this was
for this one, I don't actually know.
for the giveaway that we did last week.
For the bundles?
Oh, for the bundles. That could be.
Because we do ship internationally.
We pick them it's 100% random.
Yeah,
So-
I don't. Okay, to be honest, I don't know how Ken picked. I'm assuming he picked them random too.
Yeah.
But like, what I do is I use a website where you put all the comments in, and it's just a random comment picker, and it's awesome because you just like pick a winner, and then I just screenshot that winner, pick another winner, screenshot that comment,
Right.
and then in YouTube you can go through and you can search for that person's comment, and then I reply to that person saying that they won. So for this one, if you were international, then you
would have
won. I don't know.
For the color blends, though, that wouldn't have been an international giveaway.
Yeah, well, it could have been. You're winning a gift cards to Color Blends. So if you are international and you want a gift card to Color Blends in the United States, you'll get a gift card, whether you can use it or not. I don't know.
Sure,
you'll
that's
have a
true.
gift card.
Right, that's true. Muriel said, maybe you can sell the tilapia back to fisheries or ponds or shops.
Maybe, I should probably get with
Dalton?
I should get with Dalton and
Yeah.
just say, hey,
want
does
these
anybody
back?
want to fish any of these out?
Yeah,
Is it worth it? I
they're
don't know.
big. Those tilapia get big.
Well, and it'd be difficult. You can chum them in. Paul's been getting better at it.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of them that have had like their faces are looking terrible.
Yeah.
So we fished a couple of them out just in case it was like viral or something like that. And he said he figured out how to do it by chumming them with.
Well,
the
they'll
koi
eat treats
crunchies.
right out of your hands. They'll try to eat your hands.
So he
They're
just puts the net right underneath the koi crunchy.
and
And then
yeah.
yeah.
Nice. Mr. Ling said, I thought the appeal of the new Evolve hose reel is that all the parts are replaceable. That would be my biggest pro. Otherwise, all the other brands I've tried, you have to replace the entire thing. You can't just replace the leader hose or fitting inside the housing.
Yeah, well, here's the deal: is that the Evolve hose reel is somewhere close to $300, You can get 100-foot, that Glahoden brand one, which is not as good. Laura doesn't like it.
I don't like it.
If you're trying to save as much money as possible, it works. It's not as nice.
No.
But also it's like $125. So you can get 2 of those for less than the Evolve one. So you're right. Yeah. The Evolve one has like a longer warranty and replaceable parts. So I would say, like, if money doesn't matter, if you have a lot of money and you want to get the best, I'd probably go get an Evolve hose reel. It's probably the best one out there. If the 1-inch pipe thing is going to bother you, which it really bothers me, I don't want to buy something that I can't put on a 1-inch pipe. I would not buy it.
But if you're just getting one hose reel,
If you're just getting one hose reel and that's the one, if you're getting one hose reel and you want like the best, that's probably the one to get.
Sure. And last comment from Janice says, do you pick the winners out by the comment you liked best? So no, it's just completely random. If I had to pick one out by a comment I liked best, that would be so hard. And I remember like thinking that in the beginning before I knew that there was websites. I'm like, how do we filter through all these comments?
Yeah.
You know, they're all so nice and I want everybody to win. That would be too hard for me.
The random comment picker websites are actually really nice because they filter out duplicate comments as well.
Oh, very nice.
So you want to do that too.
Yeah.
If you were just scrolling through and picking a random one, it's possible that somebody could have commented, 10 times or whatever.
Oh, sure.
In which case it wouldn't have really been fair just
Yeah.
to scroll and pick. So I like eliminating duplicate comments.
Yeah, it gives everybody a little bit more of a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it, you guys, for this week's recap video. Again, remember our sale, Labor Day sale on the website. Maybe we can list all that stuff down in the description down below because I can't even remember all at this point. Various things on sale. There's some really cool stuff. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're having a great start to your week, and we will see you in the next one.